This is the article about the flying mantis ray, um, manta ray sighting, Minnesota. So I've had a few quite a few orbs and UFOs appear above my house, and I'm researching things about the moon and structures on there. Now, this was very similar because it was a white stingray, quote, type animal flying, 5 feet off the ground, 6 feet in front of my car, swooping through the air like swimming. That's how I filmed it, not going very fast. So he had a pretty good look at it. The dirty white and maybe some grey. Not much of a body, but definitely a stomach region kind of bulging out. And on my pictures, you'll see like orb pink structures on there. About 2 feet in centre off bottom in length, 5 to 6 inches off below the wings. And this thing flied. Now, my one was bright white first, and that's why I noticed it. So that's when I started filming, and it morphed from white and morphed to grey, and then under the cloud, you can see the whole structure of it. So we'll go through the images. So it looks like this is a type of alien entity, and again, it moves so fast. I just had the camera on the table because I'm used to filming UFOs. I'm using Olympus SP100 EE that has the red dot viewfinder. So I just zoomed in straight away. So this is the images now. So I'll just go through the videos now and quickly comment. I took quite a few still pictures. So it first caught my eye because obviously it's a very bright white object. So I thought it was a UFO again. So basically the camera just switched on very quickly. The red dot viewfinder is very easy to aim in on it and just keep it in focus without looking at the back LCD. And it flowed and behaved very unusually, and obviously it's too bright white to be a piece of paper or anything else. So I thought it was an orb initially. Now I've seen the orbs filmed by Robert Bingham in California, and it seemed to be traveling too quick for an orb, so it just mystified me. I just filmed it. The trick is to film it quickly and obviously analyze it later. So that's it there, just as it changes shape. I caught it, so I quickly stopped the film mode and I put it in picture mode. Now you can see there, it's the start of changing shape right there. Then we've got the next one now. I missed that obviously. There it is there. Now here it's assumed a completely different type of structure. It starts to become a tube. And Robert Bingham has told me these structures mimic, change shape, they do everything. Some even appear as balloons, but you can see they're not balloons because they have a thicker stump where the string should be. So it seems though they're very intelligent life forms which are actually changing shapes so they can't be seen. So here we have it, next frame. Now I'll quickly use the rapid picture frame on the camera. It allows me to take 2.5 per second. And you just see it's got an opening there, another one. That's the next picture there. The second opening is opening up. And yet this is that same object you saw just floating through. It looked triangular in shape. And it just changes literally as you see it. It literally morphs and changes shape. So these are perfect clear images. They're 200 zoom, and I zoomed in very quickly. I think I had ripped a ligament or a muscle in my diaphragm because I'm still sore after a few days. I had to cramp very quickly, stop breathing, and just capture this because it's just like this is strange. Do not let this escape you. The more I'm filming these objects and what I call alien structures and creatures on the moon, which I use very high zoom, 4000, the more I'm getting these entities above my house, including orbs and things like that. So it just fascinates me, and it gets more and more and more. I can't explain it. That's the problem. After I filmed it, next day I had a ball of light just approach me as I walked out on the balcony. It was just where the trees are, which are top of the trees are on my first floor level. I saw a ball of light probably the size of a coin. As I zoomed in to film it, it started to wiggle away vertically as though it knew I was filming it. It was fascinating. And I then went in an hour, started to analyze these images, and again, here it is again. It was, as I stepped out, I was on the balcony. I zoomed in, And just as I zoom in again, actually wiggle now to the right horizontally. Probably the size of a coin. It seemed to know when I wanted to film it. Now the same happened with this mantis ray. I think it stops near clouds to have a rest because as I followed it, I saw it quickly become white again in the clear blue sky, and the object then just stopped where a cloud was. It was a diamond shaped, and I could tell it was it because it was just a diamond on top of the cloud. Here it is again, and either it sensed I was trying to film it or follow it and it stopped to analyze me, or that's a normal pattern that actually performs. It actually flies very quickly so you can't see it. You can't even film it. This was a very lucky chance. The camera was ready to go, and it stops to stay camouflaged white right next to a cloud. So when you'll be looking at it, it's just like a diamond shape next to that cloud. Now, quite a few people commented when I posted pictures, it's only a plastic bag, but obviously it was, spinning, moving horizontally. There wasn't any wind, and a plastic bag cannot just have all these shapes and then become grey, and then become obviously a creature. And then an hour, two more appeared as well, and then there was a few which floated by. They actually looked like balloons, but when I inspected them closely, you'll see they're not balloons. This is interesting because here we have a shape that it is bizarre. Just look at that. Just look at that shape. It can't be explained by saying that's a plastic bag spinning around taking all these shapes up. Look at that. That is spectacular. When I saw that, I was just scratching my head thinking, is this for real? Now, I was very fortunate. I had enough time with this object to quickly take pictures. So I seemed to pause for a while, and that's when I decided to switch off the movie mode and actually take rapid picture mode. So there it is there. Very close there. Let's go back, we just missed that picture. That was one we analysed. That was one we analysed. That's the next one. We got the next one now. So these were caught on rapid shutter mode. I had it on a setting during the day, which allows me to take 2.5 per second. If you hold for 2 seconds, you virtually get 5 pictures straight away. I think we've seen that one. It's got a little shape up there. Next one. Here's where it starts to get that very, very strange sort of shape. Now I'm going through these step by step. We see that little structure on top right there, because this is, I think it's the first time this has been caught that well, and it was just by chance because I'm used to filming UFOs. When I sit on the balcony, I've got the camera ready, lens cap off. Anything I see, it switches on so quickly. The new one, it's 50 optic, 200 zoom, 4 digital. A digital power is fantastic. It does not blur the image at 4 digital. That's the same one I used to analyze the moon and objects on there as well. But I then used one other camera on the LCD finder. And what we're looking at there it is again. Here is an interesting shape. It takes up a tube shape, and you've got the opening right there. Perfect. Now this is the object as it is a tube shape. Again, the opening there. And again, I was very fortunate to take all these pictures because I just decided to stop moving that quick. I'll just play around with the rapid shutter mode on the object. That was the object right there. I just caught in the top frame, so I'm not getting all of this image. And it's a very rough image, so obviously if this was the camera's very good quality, it should be crystal clear. So it's like a ball of light that actually becomes a shape or an object. So it's fascinating because I never caught an object doing this. It's also scary because it's happening a lot more around me. This object was like, hey, not you. I've had so many things appear, so many orbs, the flying alien, everything. So I'm trying to do the best I can here by just sort of going through each picture to see how it morphs. There is it becomes that tube shape. And this is all happening virtually as it's flying across. So obviously this would be hard to pick up by a naked eye. If anyone's on the street, they just wouldn't notice this object. I'd estimate it's a few feet across because it's under clouds, which is about 700 meters. And the person described is about 1.5 feet, so it adds up. It's the same object. There it's there. But obviously, stories are stories without filming it. It's very good to have witness statements, but without the film to analyze, it's okay. It's going too quick there. It's just blurred. Missed it. Missed it. Missed it. Here we go. That's just one more. We'll pause it. This is the second part of the film when the object's flying. You see it here more of that square shape now. It just seems to drift with the wind. It's very covert. I'm finding it difficult to focus on the object, so that's why I started taking pictures. I sense that when this happens, the object's too small, the zoom's too big. So this is the other part of the film there. It seems to drift, change of shape. Now the interesting part here is it's still got that tubular shape. Now it becomes the two processors on the back. And as it comes under the cloud, it begins to go and change color. This is interesting right here. It becomes darker, as though it actually takes the color of the cloud around it. It morphs literally to accumulate that same color. There it is there. It's now very gray. And when I process those images and paused them, you just see it. That's just as it's happening. I'll just go back here and just pause it just as it does that. It's fascinating. So here's where it's still white. Now, as it goes under the darker clouds, it picks up the grey. You'll just see it now become grey. There it is there, right there. There again. And this is happening live. It literally changes in front of you. It's perfect. Look at that. Look at that shape. It's fascinating. it realizes it's in a darker cloud, and it actually starts to get that same color. This is one other part of the video, so it now gets that stingray shape. I'll probably have to pause it on this one. I like pausing it because there's... Now I've just paused it at the end of this video rather than go through it 3 seconds. This is where it becomes that grey stingray. So I'll try to pause it again. Let's go. So it's now white. I've walked out the back of the house and I see either the same one or one more coming across. It is white, as you saw it, and now this is where I paused it, where it just becomes that grey shape right there. Let's go through it again so you see that change. It's white, and just as the camera misses it, it goes under the cloud. I don't think it was one more coming through. And as I'm filming that object, which I think came from the white one, it now assumes full color. It's under a very dark brown cloud. You can see the little feet-like processes right there. You see the mantis prey or praying mantis or whatever it's called, stingray shape that they've seen mentioned, which I've seen mentioned in the groups. And you just see that little part of the legs coming out right there. Now, this is moving pretty quick, and it's moving sideways. There's no wings on it either. It shouldn't be doing this. So it's more like an alien type entity. You see quite a few people said it's a bag, but it's not. You'll see the legs there and they don't join in the center. You see that for a rough shape looks reptilian type of shape to it. There it is. Perfect. Look at that. That's a very scary creature. And I've got about 15 seconds worth. I made one mistake. I stopped the movie mode to try to get a still shot. Now when you do that, you risk trying to find it again, and that's what happened. I couldn't find it again. So I'm just trying to show you as it changes shape to get the individual shapes of that object, and it is beyond what I ever dreamed I'd be filming or seeing. Now I'm getting these objects a lot more on top of me. It's just like every time I think I've seen more and more and enough, I'm getting more and more. So here, these ones look smaller and those look larger, and they don't join in the center. Now that's a sideways view. Again, these are shorter, they're longer. You see the structure underneath. There's like a belly to it, which I caught. Now how I will process it, I'll actually pause this and on camera take pictures and show you the zooms that way. So I didn't get any high quality zooms. I have to do it from the computer screen, so you see the pixels there. So this literally just swirls around, horizontally. So I'll now play it full speed. There it is there. That's fantastic. It doesn't flap its wings. It doesn't do anything. It was white before, changing shapes. It was a stingray white shape, and now it's the real thing, uncloaking. An hour later, one more swarm appeared. There was 2 of them. And I thought, here we go again. You've got to be kidding me. So I just tried to catch them the best I could. They came from that same angle. They came from the north. And they were heading... they came from the east, and they're heading west. This is one more video. It's a lot quicker now. So just catch this as a second swarm. Here it is again. So I'm just trying to zoom in far away, then catch it again. And it's got that stingray shape to it again. Now, at the same time, I saw something that looks like a balloon, but it did appear to behave like one. And when I paused this and analyzed it, and one little thing, one white thing just flashed through that screen there. These are more of these orbs that Robert Bigham has told me about, and it seemed ridiculous they behave like balloons, but obviously if you're a foreign entity, see how it's thicker down there, it's straight all of a sudden. Now I've zoomed in on those pictures, and a balloon would not have that thick structure at the bottom of it. See it there, how it's thick and white. Now I've filmed plenty of balloons, and this obviously isn't. It has a tether on it. He's termed those objects tethers down underneath, and one white object just flew right across. So we'll try to get that. There it is there. There it is there again. So usually there's smaller ones that fly near it as it goes across. I then managed to get a few still shots, and still common sense would say it is a balloon, but when you look at it, you look at that blurring there, it's I don't get ever that blurring during normal daylight on a balloon. It looks more like a form of a white, thicker sort of form of that orb right there, and it should be crystal clear on camera too if it's a balloon. This isn't. So there we go again. It was mimicking a balloon, and to any person on the street, it would look like a balloon. But after looking at the tapes from Robert Bingham, the orb, a summoner, as he's known, from California, and you can look at his YouTube channel. He's filmed a lot of these things. Robert Bingham, Bingham, and that's where I got. So I actually did ring him on Saturday concerning something else, and that's when I got these visits. They virtually happened 10 or 15 minutes after I spoke with him. There it is there. To the untrained eye, even I'm having difficulty saying, well, I just filmed a balloon, but I didn't film a balloon, sorry. It looks like a balloon, but it's not a balloon. It just sounds ridiculous. Here's where it becomes that tube shape. Now, that wouldn't do that on normal blurring because it's a very rapid shutter speed. So I caught it when it becomes that tube shape, which would not happen during normal daylight hours with a balloon. I just missed it. Obviously, you can't get everything that you want. Now, here are these other objects that flew. This is that object. I walked around the corner and quickly, and you see the little ones there too. I didn't see that. You see smaller ones that accompany it. And there it is there. Look at that object right there. So if you 1, 2, 3, 4 smaller objects right there caught very well. Wow, I didn't even see them before until I zoomed in now. There they are there. That's pretty very high zoom. Look at that. Wow. I'll just try to get that one right there. Look at that. These are very good pictures. And again, I've had very good experience with this camera. As a UFO filmer, you just have enough time to see these little dots, and you have to act very quickly, otherwise they're gone. Here it seems to open. It's like a hatch opens. Right there. Look at that object. Yeah, it opens up like a hatch. And again, you've got those small ones next to it, right next to it everywhere. Now, this is a very strange shape. Here's more square, and you see that little orb shape right there. Very interesting. These are fascinating shapes. I still can't believe I caught these, and you'll see the smaller objects near it as well. It looks like a plastic bag. It's very bright like a plastic bag, but obviously it is not a plastic bag. And you've seen that obviously when it becomes that creature. Highly sophisticated. Very bright as well. So the reason I'm going through all the photos is just to show you how this would have been very hard to pick up by an average person down on street level. Very difficult. Very bright shape there. This is where it gets interesting. I've never seen that shape pop up anywhere. Look at that. That is a great shape. It's literally a square down the bottom now. I don't see how any plastic bags can assume that shape. Wow, look at that. Spectacular. Spectacular shapes. So obviously it's changed from there, it becomes now that shape. And it's very bright. Here's where we catch one little orb next to it. So obviously it just goes to prove that, because the other things I've filmed have little small orbs fly across at the same time. Usually if it's stationary it would fly across horizontally. So there's one orb right there that was caught. Excellent. There it is there. And the smaller orb was right next to it right there. We'll have a look if we can see more about the smaller one. The big one's easy, but let's have a look about this one. Yeah, there it is, just an entity or light form. There it is there. There it had that form. And there's the other smaller orb next to it. Sorry to be so painstaking and slow, but there's just so many pictures here, so many different shapes. It is beyond what I ever dreamed of seeing. Yeah, here we get something interesting. It takes up more of a rainbow type of light blue, and reds are coming into it. Ah, I'm getting sick of it too. Right there. It's a bit blurred, so I won't enlarge it. That's an interesting shape there. It looks like it's got wings on it. Look at that. You see little orb particles right there, like orbs or protrusions from it. There it is there. Another one. Never stops. This is interesting. Now here's that object. Looks like a balloon. It just looks like a balloon so much, but when you zoom in, things start falling apart. Look at that. Again, looks like a balloon. Your eyes sense it's not behaving like a balloon. As you zoom in, There's your problem. It just isn't a balloon. This is a perfect example. It looks more like a mushroom than a balloon. It's actually pink. It looks like one of those mushrooms you buy in a supermarket. Look at that. Wow. Again, and it wouldn't have that bizarre shape to it as a balloon. It'd be crystal clear on my camera. I've followed a few balloons up right into the clouds, and they stay as a dot. Now float in the clouds and with the clouds for a long time. And I use that to train the camera focus, and you'll still see it's a balloon 700 meters up, and you'll still see the string on it. This last one was very hard to capture. It looked like balloons, and I had to wait just the sunlight was right in my eyes. But when you sort of have a look at it, again like the other ones, it just seems like it should be a bunch of balloons. But they're not round. It just, your gut feeling is, look, it's just balloons, but something else is telling you. You've caught something this time. Again, that looks like balloons. It's got tethers on it, and that's what Robert Bingham told me. If you have a good look at that, it will not just float vertically down. It will do something strange. It'll have that kink in it right there, and it'll look luminous rather than looking like a straight ribbon or string, which all the others have looked like. See what I mean? It just looks like it's not there. It's like a vertical stream of light. And exactly what he said, I'm finding that to anyone else, I'd say, look, you're crazy looking at balloons. There is no clear round structure to that, except maybe the red one. You see a bumpiness happening, and to be able to mimic balloons and actually look like a balloon as it's flying over the sky is fantastic. To actually mimic that white stingray and all those shapes and then become that object fully uncloaked is even more fascinating. Look at that. So this is the object up there, and obviously it just can't be just accidental blur. Three balloons blurring into that shape wouldn't happen with my high-grade camera. See what I'm trying to get at? It's just all of a sudden now become one shape. It could be blur, but I'm just trying to look at it with an open mind. Here are the high zooms of that mantis ray object or stingray object. So I'm seeing if color enhancement will bring up the individual components of it. In this case, it didn't. It could. So I'll just have to play around with exposure down here. So I'm just trying to get the actual type of structure of the object. So the best one was auto enhance. You just start to see a belly-like structure there. Now here are the feet as they go, as it's going sideways and flying through the air. How it does that, I don't know. See what happens here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'll just try auto enhance. Obviously, it's a scaring looking object. I wouldn't like that object flying on top of me. Here it is sideways. That's obviously the belly of it, and then here are the side legs. This is going to be interesting if I can just do it with one button straight away. There it is. It did the job. There it is. It's got that rough reptilian sort of pattern that Robert Bingham analysed in his one as well. Now if I can just get that part of that pattern out, it'll be spectacular. There it is there. It's a very rough, scaly pattern. Perfect. That was a very hard picture. And the legs are always smaller on one side. Here they're smaller, there's two of them, or claws or feet, and these two are bigger. It's unusual, that form. And I'll see how close I can really get into the heart of that object right there. This is where the photo gallery from Windows comes in good. You can really do some work on a picture out of nowhere. So that's a good picture right there. That's a good one. That worked wonders. So there it is again. We'll see if we can do auto. Get that rough, scaly sort of look to it. Highlights, contrast. Maybe here we go. We just did it right there. Look at that. There it is there again. You'll see the top larger ones like pincers and the bottom ones. That's pretty good. Now that's where the pixels come in from the computer screen. I've done pretty well with that one as well. Here, sideways, you see the larger ones, the smaller ones. I'll try the auto adjust. Yes, this worked as well. Excellent. I don't want to use the adjust detail. It doesn't do that much more, and it somehow makes it more of a problem to fix. Look at that. That is perfect. The larger two ones and the little ones. There it is again. One other picture. So this is looking at the film mode and taking still shots of it. And there it is there. Two smaller ones and the bigger ones. Rough shape happening right there. Here's that perfect white one. Look at that. That is spectacular. Ah, okay, that's brought up some of the shape to it actually. I didn't expect that to happen on this one. There it is there. There it is there. Here's that object that looks like a balloon. And that's the one I want to get into the heart of it because it just isn't smooth enough. The way it comes up is totally very strange. And I'm just trying to bring up some of the structure in that orb there. It mimics a balloon. It's fantastic. Here's the picture as well. Here's that pink shape, but the problem is obviously it looks like a string, but it isn't. Now the reason I'm including it here because it was all filmed the same time. It was as though these are all orbs flying over. They're all going that direction from east to west. But the weird one and the strange one was obviously one of these bright white ones that looked like a praying mantis or type shape actually turned into that creature. So what do these others hide? What sort of creatures are they that are flying across our skies? That's a good one because it brings up part of the structure of that. Nothing special to see there. I don't want to go through the rest of them. This is unusual. Right there. That's a good example. Look at that. That's spectacular. It's another good one. Now, this is where we see those 2 feet coming up on one side. Again, I'll go past that one. Here we got a better shape of those feet. So these are just caught on camera as I analyze the movie mode. So again, it's interesting because it brings up these very, very, very scaly type of reptilian shapes to it. These are getting too small, these pictures. So I'm starting to get the pixel blur. This is where it's as though it achieves higher speed. It becomes more sleek. The feet become close together on the back. That's the shape. The top, a longer feet are up the top when it becomes quicker. That's what it means. That's it there. Unfortunately, that's not such a good picture to analyze. But there are the top two ones, and the small ones are probably just there. Now I understand what it looks like. This is same object sideways. You've got the bigger ones there, small ones on the other side. Bigger two, smaller two. This becomes tricky right there. I think I've gone through it enough. It's sort of becoming repetitious. So I'll just go same sort of shape. I'll just pause it quickly, see if there's any more interesting pictures. Look at the detail more here on this one. They're all starting to look the same, so I might start to jump it actually. You've got that same appearance on all of them. The interesting one is when I caught it white just before it changed color, and you can see the feet processes on the white mantis just before it changes color. So that's a very good one there that shows the structure of it. It's not bad, that one. Again, we got the same thing. So I'll work on those ones quicker. We got a little bit more of the structure of the belly of it right there. It's starting to sort of come up a bit. A little bit change on the contrast might do the trick. There it is. This one looks more like the creature's curled up like a bat. Here we go. It's like a toad. That's a good picture. Unfortunately, this is from the film, so I'm getting a bit of pixel blur in there happening. And that was worth the effort. It looks like a toad flying through the air. So this is all the same object. Now here we see a belly a bit differently. Now I've got one other picture that's similar. That was a spinning object which I caught. Look at that. I might get the same luck on this picture as well. Yes, this one's a magic one. You don't know until you edit it what it will show underneath it. That object right there. There. This one's from the back, so it looks interesting because you can see the two longer processes and the two smaller ones. It doesn't seem symmetrical. But when it was upright, the two longer ones seem to be on top of the object. You see something happening right there. We start to see more of the processes right there. This is interesting right there. Now, here's the interesting part. Here it is totally white before it becomes the proper color. And you can see it is, wait there, I haven't even done the auto contrast. That's better. Something's happening here where you see the feet down the bottom just appearing. That's it. That's perfect. Right there, you see those two ones appearing. So this is the same object that's cloaked white, bright white like a ghost. These are alien entities. So all these things they're calling creatures or paranormal could actually be alien entities flying across our skies. There it is there. Perfect. Perfect. Look at that. You see those 2 feet processes just appearing to be shown. That's it, when it's grey. So it's just caught on the part where it just starts to turn grey under the cloud. Now, it's tricky to get that image, so I better skip that one. That's a perfect one, because it just shows those little feet there and the bigger ones. This is getting good. I'm sorry it's taken so long. It's 46 minutes now, but every picture is like you're seeing an alien object. This isn't a natural object that looks that shape that can fly through the air. Look at that. That is spectacular. Here we see 2 of the processes at the end again. Right there. Here we see the curly tubals and belly markings, the larger one and the smaller ones. I can't do that any better on that one. I could try to fiddle around with the contrast, but I think any extra step here is just a waste of time. You just got as close as you can. There's the object again. Right there, perfect. And a little bit of extra contrast, and you can start to see the clarity of that as well. Again, we're going through it. I do it on everyone because I just don't know. You're looking at an alien entity. Who knows what shape can pop up? You just say, wow, it's worth the effort. And I've been filming a lot of these. Here we go. We're starting to see the structure down there. Here we go again. Again, one is smaller and one is a larger pair there. Here we go. Very small and large. This is one of the best pictures that I've come up with because it shows the rounded processes right there. Look at that. Look at that structure. You got the 2 longer ones, the short ones, and this a belly of alien type objects underneath. That's all I can say. It's just not from this planet. the way it disguised itself, the way it was traveling through the air. I still am shocked that I've seen this. Again, it is worth the effort. That little bit extra gets right down into the structure of the belly of the object. Look at that. That is spectacular. Again, everything is painstaking, step by step, but to just be able to see an object like this in real life and film it is once in a lifetime event to me. It's just, every picture is worth 1,000 words. Here's where not much is going to happen, I think, to that picture. I think this could be the top of the object as it was twisting because it looks very flat. Here it is when it's perfect luminous white like an angel, just before it turns into the demon. You see that? Look at that. Here we have another chance to get into the heart of this object, right there. Wow. Look at that. What do they feed on? What are they doing on our Earth? What sort of intelligence are they? This is picking up the top longer ones and the shorter ones right there. Here we see the 2 feet starting to occur. Here's a good one. It's clear. We get a belly from under it. 2 large processes and small ones right there. Same object before it changed into that color. Here again we might get a clearer image of the belly of the object. It's close, I guess. I've spent enough time on the structure of it. That's when it starts to change shape from white to become that dark shape right there. Just as we go step by step, as it goes under the cloud, it begins to morph. There it is there. No earthly object can be doing what I catch it doing on here. There's no way it can do that. That's it. That's done a bit extra. I didn't think of doing that. That's the object when it's an orb shape. And here it is when it obviously becomes a white type of object in the blue sky. There it is when it just changes. We'll just pause now, see if there's any new pictures. That's the object there. there. See the feet-like processes. This might be a different picture. This shows me a lot more than the others. I'm starting to get a bit of good feeling about this picture right here. Yes, it's a good one. That's the object right there. Again, you'll see the two smaller feet and the two larger ones. That's what I can do on that one. Here's where it begins to change shape from white and becomes that grey shape happening. You'll see in those pictures.